This is a very creepy and disturbing image. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you are a Mifine fan, you know that only one rod can fit on this box, and this is not the Morrow net pole because I already have one. This is the, again, very good packaging by Mifine. Yes, even though it looks like a spoon, it's the Mifine Honor. If you can see in here, mine it's the biggest version. It's the 270 centimeters and has a cast weight from 3 to 18 grams. This is a very affordable rod. Quality, it's yet to be put to the test because cast weights bigger than 2.5 grams are very hard on me to catch fish. Either way, I will give you a closer look of this rod on the table so you guys can check and have my first impressions, at least on the feel and build of this rod. I'll see you guys on a bit.
Yeah, this is one from the archives, but either way, as you can see, this is actually quite a nice sleeve for a rod that it's not that expensive. I think it's still around 20 something euros. And even though it has a nice sleeve, it also has a nice rod inside. You have all the info in here, so you have the size of the rod, in this case the model, the tonnage of the carbon, which is 24, the size, the sections, the cast weight, the total weight of the rod, which is 120 grams, and that will bite me on the ass by the end of the video, because today I will do the unboxing and the in-water review of this rod. So components, I would say they over-deliver. I think as you can see, the handle, it's quite nice, the EVA, it's quite dense. You have a cap on the bottom. The cap, of course, this is a telescopic rod you can open if for some reason you try to repair this rod. The protection on the top, it's actually quite good because this opaque plastic, usually it's better than the clear one. You also have a hook keeper over there. You also have SHQ guides, whatever they mean. You have the tag there with information of all the models that they have available. So mine is a bigger, I think they start at 210 centimeters. All the elements flow quite nice. The guides are properly placed. They are very well mounted on the rod. So technically the rod is actually quite good for the price. Of course, it's a telescopic rod. With that, it will have its caveats, but either way, it quite impressed me enough to buy it. Now they have a lot more options. So they have hollow tip ultralight rods. They have a solid tip ultralight rods also, and in here you can see they even put a floating guide. It's nothing fancy. It's just a bit of carbon that will stay there so the rod doesn't bend like a square under load. That's a big problem with telescopic rods, because if you have just a guide on the top of each element, it will be a greater distance and you cannot distribute the load very well, and the rod, when it's under a lot of tension, so let's say with a snag or a big fish, it will just fold like a square. It will fold on the elements, which it's a very bad look and very bad for either you get feedback from the rod in terms of how can I say, actually feel for the bites and trying to maneuver fish without breaking the rod. So the weight is 118.4 grams, so under the stated, so it's quite nice. The rod, it's actually quite small. If you go, I would say, saltwater fishing, it's actually pretty cool and pretty maneuverable, the size. So let's put everything together. For some reason I forgot to measure the tip, which in this case it's not that indicative of the...
I'm testing very quickly, briefly, because this is a travel rod, the Mifine Honor. As you see, it's a very thick rod from what I'm used to. I have it paired with Surunoia Metis, and then in the tip of my rod I have a 10-gram jig. I'm trying to catch, you know by now, the very famous twitch head. See if I can get any. Tip seems to be good. Castability, I would say this one was not that great, but maybe because I used this reel in salt water and I didn't clean that well the braid. 10 grams, you have sensibility working your jig. I can feel the jig moving. I will later, and by later I mean in a couple of minutes, put a lighter presentation as soon as I break all my braid. So you see, I'm getting more distance. The braid is peeling out well. The rod feels a little bit heavy on the hand, but again, this is a telescopic rod. I'm not expecting perfection, and it's also very affordable. So in promotion days with codes, it's like under 30 euros, so very affordable. But very small twitch shot just jumped in front of me. Oh, missed it. Blank feels a bit soft while casting. You see that it doesn't have the springiness, but again, this is not what this rod is about. This rod is about very quick deploy, which means if we can get a fish with it the right way, which means I feel it, I hook it, it's a win. I'm not putting that much effort on the cast also, so that's also that. The only effort I'm putting it's on the retrieve and working, as you can see. Yeah, this jig works, which is good. Let's try and catch fish. Come on, I just want one fish. Let's check the balance. The balance is not bad. Also, I'm not used to such long rods, that's why maybe I'm not vibing so much with this one. Oop. Don't want to get stranded. Again, sorry for the audio, I cannot do nothing about the crosswinds. So I have to grip the rod like this to feel the balance, because if I don't get it, it will stress my arm a bit too much for my liking. Yeah, casting could be better. For the weight that I'm casting, I know that I'm using very thick braid, but even though, I think the bite's just tight for twitch shot. Whoa! You saw it? While I was like darting my jig, a guy just came up almost on the surface to tackle it.
And by now you should know that my opinion on this rod is a little bit dampened by the way it's built. So it's a very long rod, it's quite heavy, so the whole setup was, I would say, 350 grams, which is too heavy for me. So I would take a step in and I will abstain myself from testing this sort of gear. I don't think my opinion will be that valid, because after like 10 minutes I felt very I would say tired on my wrist because the way I was casting. This is a rod that you should use for slower things. I would say. If you are used to ultralight at least, I want to be able to cast a lot in a short time, open up a little bit my possibilities, at least to filter out where the fish are. And I also think because it's a little bit of a softer rod, with a 24 ton being such long, being a telescopic rod, it also took away a little bit of my ability to perceive the bites. So I fish in here with a Jig Smart, which is also a bigger rod, but with that one, even though it was not as heavy and not as big, I still had the perception of the bites. And if you saw my videos with either the Super Lit, the Kuying Super Lit, or the Elf, even though they are more expensive rods, they were also big, a little bit heavier than I'm used to, also on the heavier side of the cast weight, and I was able to produce bites and fish catches even on similar days. This was recorded actually on that period of time. So with that said, I think I will sit out from this type of rods in the future. It's not a bad product, it's really not my sort of fishing. So if you are interested, and with all the feedback that I gave you, it's a little bit damp. Again, telescopic rod, it's big. If you are fishing slowly, if you are fishing for predators that are, I would say, like more certain on a bite. So if I was fishing for let's say bass, zander, I would say this is quite good. If it's something that you have to be very careful and have that perception of half second to let the fish turn around so you can set the hook like with Twitch Chat, it's too slow over rod. And with that said, if you like the video, leave a comment down below. If you are not subscribed, please subscribe. With this kind of videos where I don't have too much to say, I will probably bundle them together like in this one, because I have a lot of things on back catalog. And with that said, I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!